What a weekend for WB. Birds of Prey was released and the Oscars took place. Joaquin Phoenix took home the Oscar for Best Actor for his portrayal of the Joker. Congratulations to Joaquin, he deserved the win. I think even people that didn't like the movie can agree his performance was fantastic. But, of course, being WB, the good news always comes with the bad. Birds of Prey came in at $33 million domestically and $79 million worldwide. That is half what WB expected for opening weekend. I keep reading on all these sites how shocked people are and asking questions like, how does this happen, or what went wrong? I don't know what delusional world they live in or how out of touch with the general audiences these sites are, but it was painfully obvious this movie was not going to do well. But these sites ask if it was just bad marketing, or they like to blame misogyny and nonsense that men are threatened by strong female roles. I touched on this topic when we went through the same similar type of bitching and complaining when Captain Marvel came out. But enough with the men are threatened crap. Audiences, women and men alike, have been accepting of powerful women roles since the 60s with Cleopatra Jones. The 70s we saw Ellen Ripley. The 80s we saw Sarah Connor. The 90s saw Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The list goes on and on and on, including River Tam, Aeon Flux, Ultraviolet, Resident Evil, not to mention Wonder Woman and Hot Girl have both thrived for 80 years. Audiences are not against female creators either. Gail Ann Hurd has been successfully producing the biggest and best films and series for decades. Mimi Leader, Catherine Bigelow, Patty Jenkins, then you got writers like Jane Espenson, etc., etc. The director of Birds of Prey had very little experience and was simply not ready for this film. That's why they pulled in the John Wick director to oversee the action sequences, which ends up being the film's only saving grace. I've been saying the same thing for months about this film. It will open big because Harley is a fan favorite, but then it will be so bad that the second week will have a massive drop, and it will ultimately top out less than Shazam's total. But because it only cost $77 million, it will make its money back. Now, Birds of Prey is failing for a few simple, real reasons, okay? Number one, whether or not the movie is good is irrelevant because the trailers just looked horrible. Trailers are designed to get viewers interested and get them in the seat. These trailers did nothing of the sort. Number two, the costume and set designs look cheap as all hell. I actually made a Harley short film for $500 that looks better than this $77 million film. Don't get me wrong, my cheap movie looked cheap, okay? It was bad. $500 is not a lot of money. 3, it looks cheesier than Schumacher's Batman. In fact, I half expected George Clooney's Batman to pop in at some point in the film. Number 4, and here's a big one. This is a semi-sequel to Suicide Squad. Now, Suicide Squad is easily the worst DC EU film of the bunch. So Birds of Prey was a film no one wanted, okay? Meanwhile, audiences continue to beg for Man of Steel Part 2. It's almost as if WB intentionally wants DC films to fail. It's one thing after the next with the editing of Zack Snyder films, the Suicide Squad, the rewriting of Justice League. They completely tried to sabotage Joker. That's a whole story in itself. I don't understand WB's resentment towards DC. And the 5th reason why Birds of Prey is failing is WB essentially raped the Birds of Prey IP by shitting all over the characterizations of all the characters except for Harley. And the ironic thing is, for all those screaming sexism and misogyny, is that if WB actually did Birds of Prey correctly, it would not only be a better film, but everyone would love it, and it would actually help the feminist cause even more. But in this film, where is Batgirl or Oracle? Why is Harley in it at all? What the hell is the abysmal casting of Huntress and Black Canary? A real Birds of Prey film would help the feminist cause much more than this SJW bullshit film. If WB was determined to have Harley lead a film, then they should have stuck with Gotham City Sirens. Why? Because Harley is actually a part of that book with Poison Ivy. Now the latest stupid ass answer from WB is to actually change the name of the film from Birds of Prey to Harley and the Birds of Prey. A little bit too late there, but quite frankly, you should have just named it Harley Quinn. How about that? What kind of pathetic attempt is this? But in my opinion, they are completely overestimating the drawing power of Harley. Yeah, she's a great character, but almost everybody would rather see the main pantheon of DC characters than the likes of her. I mean, it's frustrating. I'm sorry the film is failing because I hate seeing DC films fail, alright? But stop blaming sexism on the failure of a movie that failed on every level all by itself. And I want to emphasize, I don't want DC films to ever experience a failure, because every single time they do, WB overcompensates, they restructure everything, and we start at ground zero again, and everything gets shuffled up. If we just stuck to Zack Snyder's 5-film arc, then Jeff Johns' Flashpoint, and then we'd be on a great trajectory, but it's a clusterfuck there now, and I fear that Birds of Prey failing is just going to make it worse again. But at the end of the day, I just cannot support garbage, no matter how much I love DC. I just hope that this does actually make WB realize, okay, nobody wanted this movie, just like nobody wants the Trench spin-off movie. I mean, what a waste of resources. Again, give us the main characters of DC that we've been waiting decades for. These characters have been around for 80 years. We want to see them on the screen correctly. They should be ahead of Marvel, not behind Marvel. Look, WB, you need a better business model and give audiences what they want. Where the F is Man of Steel Part 2? If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for future content.